didn't even have a budget of their own until April. When they came, they had governed on the appropriations that the previous government left for them. And so their own policies or things that they have told us while they were in opposition, 24-hour economy that they actually campaigned vigorously on, that was going to give 133. But
the president has
launched it. Let me. I'll
let you go into detail. It's an issue.
I know. Look at it.
Musa has done his work.
From 24-hour to 24-hour plus.
Musa, we are not discussing details of it.
Okay, forget.
Musa has done it well. I'm just giving you an opportunity to just comment on what he has said.
I just mentioned one of their policies. The 24-hour economy.
We'll have an extensive conversation on that.
They convened. He mentioned other things that people are happy, like oral, Operation Recover or Loot. Thus far, I've only seen the Attorney General having media events, and I've not seen reality. I mean, I don't know. You see, the strategy will be for them to use the media to prosecute people, and if that is their strategy, I mean, so be it. And they are doing that just to be able to rationalize the things they said whilst they were in opposition. And so people have a feel good about oral. Now the Attorney General will come and prosecute somebody in the media and say all manner of allegations. And then when it comes to even charging the person to court, if you're following what happened with the Dumoyem issue, you will see that, look, there's a lot that remains.
Okay.
Musa talked about price stabilization.
I'll ask you to.
It is real. Mm-hmm. It is real.
It's happening.
Of course, it's real. I mean, we've always said that, and I have agreed that, look, it is not an exchange rate as to it's 1 cedi to $1 to 20 cedis or 1 cedi to 50 cedis. But for me and for every economy, it's about the stability. And we have actually gotten some stability over the last couple of months. That's true.
Okay.
And that has affected the standard of living because people's real income have gone up. Fuel prices have been stable. Those are facts. Those are facts. But if people are saying that we are feeling good and we think that the government is performing because electricity and water prices, they gave what, 6 over 10? Right? That is where I have the challenge.
Okay, I understand you. Musa, let's go into details.
Oh, okay. Musa is not going to go into details. See, let me say something. Me and Musa, we go way back.
I know. You are good friends, I know.
But we're not just friends.
I just invited you.
About 25 years ago.
I just invited you to make a quick comment on what you have said.
Oh, okay, certainly. Certainly, now that it's getting into the details, I'm sure we'll be able to.
So let's go into the details. Musa, you're just confusing me. Musa, let's look at the demographics in there. Gender, percentage-wise, the report says 58% male, and then 42% female. Was it deliberate?
No, it's in random sampling in the field. You can't determine how many men or women you meet on the day in the field at the point in time. So if you want to remove the gender imbalance, then you apply the weighting using the natural EC proportion. But we didn't feel this is the relevant at this stage to be able to weight the sample, and it makes no real difference.
Look, I've seen a sample where people say that, for instance, discussing the economy, they talk to women more because they go to the market, they do more of the shopping.
There's no place in statistics.
Let's also look at the age, the age ranges in all this.
You know, you look at the almost 80% of respondents are below 44 years. It tells you how young the country is. So 80% of people who vote going to be around below 44 years. So this is a young country with a young population, and for that matter, that should influence any campaign as to where the target or who should target if you want to really win the minds and hearts of people who can make decisions about your future. So it's a very good point for people to look at, and then also interesting to see the decision or the minds of these young people.
Let's look at education.
That's where it gets very interesting. Only 11% of respondents have no formal qualification. 11%. It tells you that the demographic of the Ghanaian voter is getting educated. So the tricks used in the past to win votes do no longer work. So people have become more enlightened. They're able to decipher and analyze information and process it very well and make a decision. So the tactics of using certain tactics to win votes doesn't apply anymore.
It's no more there.
No, it's no more there. No more. That's why we have seen different kind of people these days, and they react differently to political issues.
So these Gen Zs, as we call them.
Absolutely, absolutely. They are very ruthless, and they're not tribal in terms of their belonging association. They are very fluid. Today they are with you. Today, if you mess up, they abandon you, go somewhere else. They have no allegiance, but only to their interest.
Talking about the economy in the right direction, I'm sure an issue that will come up is employment.
Yes.
You look at the employment.
In fact, if you look at the Mahama score, his worst score was on job creation, which means that people are not feeling that the jobs have been created yet. So if they were to rank him out of 10, he was scored, I think, 5.6 or 5.8 on that one. Because they've had maybe things they want to do, but it has not materialized yet. So let's see down the line what this figure will be. Because eventually, it will begin to respond.
But is it not too early?
But you see, the point is that if you don't measure it, how do you know?
Okay.
If you don't measure it, how do you know that he's performing worse? Now we know it's 5.6 or 5.8. If we go back in 3 months, it's now 4.8. Then you can say, well, it's getting worse.
Yeah.
You have an argument to make. If you're in a position, you can take this one and hammer them on. So if we don't measure it, how do you know that it is improving or it's getting worse? So for us, the too early it makes no difference to us. In fact, if we had our own way, we would have started polling from the day he was sworn in.
Because religion is an important factor in Ghana's
politics, yes.
In Ghana's politics.
If you look at the structure, I think over the polling cycles we've done, Christians were around 71%. But in this sample, it's about 65%, which means that on the day, we sampled fewer of Christians than other religions. Islam is around 23% in this sample, but averagely it's around 21%. So you can see a bit of oversampling of Muslims here. But it tells you that a huge chunk of our population are Christians. And if you look at the denomination, that is where sometimes it gets very interesting. Mm-hmm. Because you need to understand the thoughts of those who belong to the traditional conservative, let's say, the traditional religions, or what they call denominations. The Catholics, the Anglicans, the Methodists, and the Presbyterians. The way they behave is not the same as those who belong to the Pentecostal churches, Charismatics, and other. They are not same block. They are same religion, but different interests. So you have to be able to understand how these blocks think and behave in an election.
Interesting, Musa.
And the same thing applies to the Muslim bloc.
Muslim ones as well.
You have the Sunnis, who are the majority, around almost 60% of them are the Sunnis. Then the Tijanis are there, and then the Ahmadiyyas are there, the Shiites are there, and others as well. So you need to know the views of these blocks. And indeed, you can measure whether you are making progress in that sect or not. And you can be able to see how do you target them, because they have the various interests. They're not all the same, even though they are Muslims.
The Sunnis still have the majority, which is 57%.
Yes. They are the majority bloc, followed by the Tijanis and the Ahmadis.
What about ethnicity? It also plays a major role in Ghana's politics.
It does.
People vote for people because they are coming from where I'm coming from.
That's quite true. And it's going to shape a lot of the race that we're going to see down the line. Now, the sample we took had about accounts around 46%, which is correct because the GSS around 47, 48 the accounts. So it reflects that kind of structure. OS comes second with 12%. Moli Dagbanis, which is 11%. The Ganadangbe, 9%. Other smaller ethnic groups at 9%. You have the Guan, 7%. The Grushis, 3%. The Gruma people, 2%. The Mande, 1%. And the Guru, also 1%.
Another area which is always important is the party affiliation, because depending on who you speak to,
absolutely,
will determine the kind of score they will give to whoever.
Absolutely. And it is very important that the parties maintain or grow their party affiliation. And they must understand as well that party affiliation it's not like ethnic groups. It's like association of people. They join, they leave. Now, data shows that MPP since the election has been on the decline in terms of party affiliation. When you randomly pick people in the street and you ask them which party do you normally vote for, not a member of, normally vote for. Oh, I normally vote for NDC. That makes you NDC. Normally vote for MPP. That makes you an MPP. Or sometimes I vote NDC. Sometimes I vote MPP. And there are those who said, as for me, I'm a PNC. As for me, I'm a CPP. As for me, I'm PPP. Those are the other political parties. They are quite small. About 3% of them belong to other parties. And they have another bloc who say that, look, me, I won't tell you, being cultural. And those are remnants of MPP and NDC voters who tend to hide their true political party affiliation, depending upon where you interview them. If the person is in the MPP stronghold and it's in the NDC, he will hide it.
Okay.
Maybe he's in the group of people that are, typically MPP, and it's an NDC. He doesn't want to show his true colors. And if he's in the NDC stronghold, and it's an MPP person, and he wants to hide it, he say, I won't tell you. So the numbers differ a bit, but sometimes what we have done is to, over time, to see how they behave. Which kind of voting bloc do they normally behave like? And after the 2024 elections, we've realized that those who don't disclose are majority NDC people.
They don't disclose?
Yeah, they hide.
And they gave you reasons why they do that?
You have to second guess. It's not palatable for him to say he's NDC or MPP within certain settings.
Interesting. So let's look at the one on governance as far as the direction of the country is concerned. You say that the people who believe that is the right direction are 62. Those who believe, as at April, 62% believe it's in the right direction. And then as at June, it jumped to 70%. Why the sudden jump?
If you look at the data, and every data has a timestamp. The timestamp for this June poll coincided with the time that the CD really made a remarkable
was performing magic.
Yes, magic. It did coincide with the timelines that the petroleum prices dropped. It did coincide with the time that we saw price of certain goods and services, certain goods coming down. So these are the factors that were driving people's perception about where the country is headed. And also, there were some decisions that were taken by the government, some policies they may have announced. People think that it could have impact on where we head as a country. So all those factors contribute to what people think we are headed as a country.
So on the screen is approval of government's performance. Explain to us.
There's a difference between Mahama as a person, as a president, and the government as a whole.
So you distinguish between the two?
Yes.
The individual and the government.
Yes. This particular one is the government as a whole.
Okay.
In the April poll, those who said excellent was 21%. That has declined to 18% now. So it means something has changed slightly there. But those who are saying very good or good has gone up from 55 to 61%. And those who are saying average performance has gone up slightly from 9 to 10. But those who said very poor or poor has declined. And this shows a government whose popularity is not receding.
People will say it's still too early, 6 months into the
But
administration.
we are measuring. Now when they fall, we can compare and say, there's a fall here.
The president's approval.
Now, with the president, about 73% of Ghanaian voters approve of his performance, up from 66% in April. And this performance matrix normally move in the same direction as the country's direction. Once they feel that the country is headed in the right direction, then the driver tends to get the credit. If it's headed in the wrong direction, trust me, you see him coming down. So as far as that direction is going up, you see the approval rating going up. So from 66% to 73% in the 90 days. Those who are saying disapproval is not doing well has declined from 23% to 19%. And those without opinion has declined from 11% to 8%. Interestingly, this time around, every region in this country, every region, without exception, majority of voters in those regions are saying that he has performed well.
Every region?
Including the Ashanti region.
Interesting.
Now, let's look at areas where MPP won last time.
Yeah.
In the Ashanti region, 46% of Ashanti region voters approve of the way John Mahama is doing his work. 44% disapprove. When it comes to Eastern region, 68% approve of his job performance. 13% disapprove. When it comes to Northeast region, 87% approve. Only 5% disapprove. Northeast region.
It cuts across, as you said. Interesting.
So you can call it honeymoon.
Yeah.
But we are measuring the honeymoon. When it falls, we'll be here to tell you that it's falling. And we can compare.
Issa believes this one will not last. He and his political party, they believe that this is just for a short period of time.
The question is, how long would that honeymoon last?
Yeah.
If it goes on for 1 year, if it goes on till MPP like a flag bearer, that would be a problem. It should begin to show weakness before they elect their flag bearer. If that timeline they are setting now is what they're going to stick with.
Issa, as you mentioned the MPP, let's jump onto the MPP primaries, which you also did some work in there. So you say that 70% of NPP supporters believe that Dr. Bawumia should be the best candidate or the best individual to lead the party. How did you reach this conclusion?
We just count. We don't draw conclusions. We counted how many people who say they are MPP want Bawumia. Just counting. And how many people were mentioning Kennedy Japan. So for every 100 MPP people we counted, 70 were saying Bawumia. And 17 were saying Kennedy Japan. 7 were saying Educhu. 1 person will say Patrick Boama. And 3 persons will say Brian Champo. A simple numbers game, counting.
After the time you did, had Brian Champo declared officially?
Yes, yes. The only people who have not declared when we went to the polls was Patrick Boama.
And until now, he's not declared.
He's not declared.
He's not declared. But a lot of polls also, pull him in there. But let's look at the leadership. Okay, you've mentioned that one. And then many people have also said that if NPP supporters still want to bring Dr. Bawumia back, the last election was not in the interest of the MP as far as their performance is concerned. Did you ask them why they still want to repeat him as their candidate?
No, it's for them to go
and find out.
It's for them to go and find out. We can't do everything for the political parties. We have to give them heads up where they can go. But there are certain things we have, certain charts we have the voters that we can't put them in the report. They will tell you why, but that's not why we were there. But what we have gathered so far suggests that many of them believe that, or have bought into the idea that once he's come before, if you repeat him, he will do better.
Let's look at the party affiliation on the individuals you spoke to.
Yes. I mean, for those who were kind of voting for the MPP primaries. Now, among the respondents, you mentioned about MPP, 70% were supporting Bawumia, 17 Kennedy, 7 Iduchum, and the rest. When you come to NDC voters, about half of them who we spoke to want Bawumia to lead MPP. And about 26% want Kennedy to lead MPP. And 10% prefer Iduchum. When you come to floating voters, there, about 46%, 46 want Bawumia to lead MPP. But 28 prefer Kennedy Japan, 12% prefer Iduchum, 5% Boama, and 4% Achampo. These are the big blocks in terms of party affiliation.
Yeah. And then the other political parties too?
Among the other political parties, about 45% support Bawumia, want Bawumia. 30% prefer Kennedy. 9% Iduchum, 3% Boama, and 6% Brian Achampon. Among those other parties, you can see that majority of them are voting for other candidates other than Bawumia.
Because in April, there were between April and June, there were some changes.
Yeah. In April, Dr. Bawumia was 48% among all voters.
In April? 48%.
48%.
Okay.
Now it's gone to 56%.
56%.
Yeah.
There's a jump in there.
A jump in there. And then if you come to Kennedy Japan, he was on 25%, but he declined to 23%. About 2 points drop. When it comes to Idichum, he was 12%. He dropped 3% to 9%. And then Brian Champon drops 1%. Then you have beneficiaries being Bawumia and Patrick Boama, who wasn't there in April, but now featuring on 4%.
Let's look at the individuals who will not disclose.
Now, we looked at the race from the point of view of people who voted for Bawumia in 2020, and those who didn't tell us who they voted for in 2020, and those who didn't vote at all. Now, among those who voted for Bawumia in 2024, 74% of them want him again, which is higher than the MPP bloc, which is 70%. And then 70% want Kennedy Japan, 7% want Educhum, 1% Boama, and 3% prefer Brian Champo. But for those who did not disclose who they voted for, these people are typically majority NDC, I told you earlier. 49% want Bawumia, almost the same as what? The 50% NDC guys. And then 38% support Kennedy Japan, 3% Educhum, 2% Patrick Boama, and 3% Brian Champo. But those who did not vote in the last election, generally, Bawumia is on 36%, much lower. Kennedy, 31%. Educhum, 15%. Boama, 7%. And Brian Champon, 5%. So if you look at those who didn't vote, they are the disgruntled voters.
Yeah.
In that block, the race is much, much closer.
It looks like the age gap and the age range.
The age range, if you look at the age range, Bawumia does well across all age groups. 18 to 24 is on 57%, 25, 34, 57%.
The young like him, the old also like him.
Yeah, it's a blend. Because the way he's leading in the gap,
Yeah.
he's able to command lead among all the age groups so far.
Interesting. You also did some work on the NDC as well.
And that's where I think we've gotten the most flack from.
You also did some work on the NDC as well. What did you find out?
No, it's quite interesting. In fact, I think MPP will be boring this time around.
Yeah.
Last time it was NDC that was boring, but I think this year the NDC one will not be boring at all.
It will be an interesting one if you ask, because the party needs to get a new candidate for John Mahama.
Yes.
Who is leaving or who will be leaving.
Yes.
And so what did you come up with?
None of them has officially declared
Yet.
they want to contest.
Oh.
But some of them has.
No one has come out.
Issa has spoken.
Issa.
That given a chance, he wants to succeed Mahama.
That is fine. I think that's not formal statement. Okay, let's take it as he will contest. Say given a chance.
That's not an official
That's not an official
declaration.
declaration. So we know as Edin Ketia, most likely, if you give me 90% chance he will contest.
Okay.
And then you have Julius Debra. I think 100% chance he will contest.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the candidate, Haruna, same level of 90% chance.
Idris, education minister.
Yes, 90% chance he will contest.
What's the chance?
90% chance he will contest.
Aduna.
Haruna Idris.
You know, when you go to Tamale and you see his cycles, it's not Haruna,
Yeah.
it's Aduna.
Okay. Right. Atufosin, we don't know. He's quiet. He's not said anything. He appears to be focused on his job, just posting inflation data and debt and interest payment. We don't know whether he really wants to put his heart in the race. Then we have Ablakwa. And then Zinato Admiroles. But the list includes every kind of person that you can think of in NDC. In fact, we have Haruna Idrisu, Asedin Ketia, Atufosin, Debra, Ablakwa, Zinato Admiroles, Vuswan Pofu, Guzitano, Anatete, Erikopoku, Iwadaku, Alice Mold, Omane Boama, Fivikwete. So we have done as much as possible to bring everybody. We had Professor Jinana there in April poll. She was performing well, but we took it out for some tactical reasons. So now the race, yes. No,
I'm not the host.
I took the decision to drop it for simple reasons that the health scare issue could really damage campaign if she wants to go in.
So Musa, these individuals, these names, your people are told these names by these respondents, or you choose these names and then you ask them the questions?
No, for this particular one, we don't want to disadvantage anybody. So we read out the list of names we have.
We didn't add Edemaga now.
We list all the names we have for them to choose who they want to.
So you mention these names to the respondents, and then they choose the people they prefer to lead the NDC. Okay.
The next stage of the polling, we will shortlist these names to some fives and someone else, or I will not vote. By that time, we will ask them to prompt us. We will not give them any names. It will be what we call unprompted recall. So that from their own, they will tell us who they want to vote for, and we will choose for them.
Okay.
That is more natural, and that will really show the race how it looks.
Mr. Just hold on for me. Let me get a thoughts on Isa on this. Now your party, the MPP, it looks clear that Dr. Bawumia, from what Musa is telling us, may lead the MPP. But you're surprised at the NDC names coming up.
As a political student, or as a student of political science, I learned very early in my life to respect science, especially when it's driven by data, and that can be replicated. You know how I learned this that's it. It stuck so much. I recollected that one time, just before Obra, there's Steve Nyakutekwa who come and give the weather forecast, and then out of some I said, "Oh, Emali," and my father got furious. He said, "You have to respect science because it's talking from science and data." So since then, I've never doubted science to the extent that it can be replicated. It is fair. That's what I believe in. Your question as to the NDC names that are coming up. Whom am I? I'm looking at people that some of them I've had personal relationships with or had opportunities to work with. The likes of Ato, the likes of Haruna. Sidon Kete, I've met a couple of times and all of that. Julius, I've never encountered him. Zaneto, well, if they think, but who am I? I mean, it's their game, and but from all indications, there are two front runners within the NDC's fold, and everybody will agree that the NDC is looking at either the current chairman, Sidon Ketia, or the current chief of staff. I think they are the two front runners. But the performance of Haruna in this pool, and that I respect if it's scientific and can be replicated, and it is true. What's the feelings of the people on the ground? Maybe Haruna will be having some thoughts of also running, but I don't know. But for me, I mean, whom am I? I mean, it's their game. Whoever they bring, I mean, it's their, and I don't really have a choice on. But you see, I don't know whether I can veer into the other sides of the.
You can.
Oh, of course. You see, earlier on, I was trying to make a point. Then again, on this polls being scientific, that's the most important. It's scientific to the extent that if another person goes onto the field and wants to replicate the study, it is going to come out with the same sort of results. And significantly, you have issues that are happening, right? And some are real. But I again insist that 6 months in the life of a government, in a 4-year tenure, it is natural for people to still feel good, given the extent or the margin of victory the NDC got in December 2024. When you look at some of the factors that were pulled, stabilization of the city. It's true, we are all feeling the stability, so people will have a feel good and give some positive feedback on it. But you see, when you go on to something like oral, given what the NDC said in opposition, given what they have done since they assumed power in January to date, and I again will state that beside the media prosecution by the Attorney General, let us go to court. I mean, charge people. I mean, go to court and prove the matters. We are seeing a few in court, yes, but you see, the wheel of it runs very, very slowly, and so we should just proceed with caution. When you say that people are feeling good about the performance of government because of electricity and water prices, then I have a problem. Because in the last 2 quarters, we've seen electricity prices go up. First by over 14%, and then in the second quarter, we experienced over 2%. Even given the stability of the currency and the relative stability of crude prices, in the midst of this Iran-Israel matters, it just went out slightly and started falling again. In all of this, we are still experiencing utility prices go up, and how people feel good about that, I don't know. The next point the survey mentions is galamsey. From where I sit, I think it's gotten worse, and a lot of Ghanaians will agree that, look, from where we left off in December to date, and given how the NDC wanted the NPP government to treat galamsey, call for a state of emergency in mining areas or across, or stop all mining activities, actually. Go to Parliament and withdraw the act that will permit people to mine in forest reserves and all of that. And given that they come into power and now they want to amend clauses within the CI rather than withdraw the whole, as they have promised us, going back on their word. And I don't see how people feel good about how the government has treated galamsey. The next point he mentions is Dumso. Generally, people are feeling that the Dumso situation is gotten worse under NDC. And they are giving NDC a score of 5.8 over 10. Is that what the survey is saying? And then I again go, if it is scientific, if it's what I can also go on the field and replicate and come out with the same outcome, then so be it. But from where I sit, from the unscientific side, right? Given what I hear people say about the Dumso situation, I'm wondering how come people are still feeling good about it. And the next one he mentions is jobs. I cannot put my hand or my finger on a single policy that has been rolled out that is geared towards job creation. The 24-hour economy, which the government hinges so much on,
which is our next topic for discussion,
was launched only yesterday, right? Prior to that, we had not seen any documentation. We didn't even see how it was going. And the point I wanted to make earlier on is that, look, in the run-up to the elections, all we heard about the 24-hour election, 133, those figures, right? 1 job, 3 people, 3 shifts, and all of that. Now we are hearing 24 plus. It is just starting. So I don't see how people feel good about jobs. Look, there was an initiative by the communications minister to train a million coders. And it was going to cost, from what I heard, about $1 billion or something. I heard the allocation for the program at the time of launch was about 100 million cedis. A program that projects to train 1 million coders over 4 years started with less than 200 people. Agro beso efianopa. Agro ebeso efianopa. Right? And these are some of the policies that the electorate voted on. And 6 months into, it's still early days yet, though, because I recollect on the morning of the launch, I was listening because I was driving. And the minister had said that at the time that the program was being launched, over 120 people had actually applied to be part of the program. But the program started with less than 200 people. We know the budget situation. We know why the Minister of Finance went to Parliament in the deep of the night with some clandestine activity to be able to put in place this Dumso levy that we are talking about, the issues that led to them suspending it. Now they are planning to bring it back on the 16th of June.
But all these challenges, all these challenges are there. But then the Ghanaian people still feel the Mahama administration is headed for the right direction.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That look, it's for me to it's become a bit we are to reconcile the fact that we are going through all of this at this time, right? But then again, I will understand how come people will have to rationalize why they voted massively for the NDC, and it's early days yet. If I had given the NDC this opportunity and this with this margin of success in the elections, then I should be patient enough to give them enough time to be able to roll this thing out. And within that time, trust me, the Ghanaians and people, the Ghanaians that I know, they will give you ample time. But it all lies in the time of womb, in the womb of time. In the womb of time, we will see, and time will let us see the real length of the snake. Look, this Dumsor levy and how they managed it shows you that, look, there is something happening within the fiscal policy of this nation. If they had to hurriedly, go to parliament in that manner, ensure that within hours we are going to pay 8%, almost 9% more on fuel, it tells you that there is something going on within our management of our fiscal policy. But hey, per the Financial Management Act, the minister has to go to parliament sometime this month with a mid-year budget. And I am sure that it's going to give us an update on how our revenues are performing, how our expenditures are performing, how our deficits are going, and how it's managing this whole thing. In the womb of time, we'll get to know the details as to what is actually happening. And when reality hits us in the face, I am sure that people will sit back and really assess how the government is going. I still think that, look, 6 months into their life,
it's still early. It's still the honeymoon period.
No, I won't say it's too early. It's still early though. It's still early though. But the signs are on the walls. The signs are on the walls that, look, there are tougher times ahead, and we should all just get ready for it.
Let's talk about your party, the NPP. Musa also says that majority of your party people believe that Dr. Bawumia should be given another chance. You agree?
You see, our party is had conventions over time, and sometimes some of these conventions are broken. I mean, for one reason or the other. I mean, beside Jerry John Rawlings in 1992, who won elections at the first time of asking, I can't recollect anyone who has done that. And even within our internal elections, the margin with which Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia won in 2023, it's never happened. It showed the popularity. But then again, why we lost in 2024 and the reasons being espoused by some of the people in our party, it's clear for all of us to see. We went into an elections in a very, very, very difficult time, such that, look, no matter what you have done, people looked at their particular circumstances within the time, and it showed in the polls. We will admit, look, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had admitted that, look, within his tenure, there were times. I mean, there were times that you cannot even recollect any time in living memory when we have been faced with things like COVID and all of that. Those are realities. Those are the realities. And so, and even breaking the eight, the fact that we wanted to do something that had not been done before in Ghana. And it all fed into our performance in 2024. But Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as a person, Ghanaians will appreciate him. And I am sure that people already miss him. Look, this is the most visible vice president ever. Look, now people can tout the performance of the NDs when it comes to management of the currency. Nobody's mentioning Professor Nana Jane, right? Nobody's mentioning her.
But she no one has ever mentioned she is or was an economist. Dr. Bawumia was introduced to us as Ghanaians as the economic messiah. He was holding lectures.
And I have said on this platform. I have said on this platform. Look, in the run-up to 2016 elections, look, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, through those lectures, introduced a culture that we had not seen in Ghana before, and it's fed positively into our body politic in this nation, and people should be happy that, look, through those lectures, I mean, now I've seen other people trying to replicate it in some forms, either going to meet students here or there and all of that. But look, whenever Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had spoken, it became a national event, and that I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians will. Look, what he did prior to 2016 elections, look, at the time, we didn't have a finance minister for the NPP. NPP was not in power. We identified people for the various sectors, and he was in charge of the economy. Going into government, we had executive power, we had a minister of finance, we had a minister of trade. And per the architecture of our constitution, you realize that, look, the vice president is as powerful as the president allows him to do, because we run an executive president in this country. And so you, the vice president, you are as visible, you are as productive as the president. And thankfully, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo allowed Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to run certain projects that he had picked on him and that he excelled excellently. If Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia had been given wholeheartedly the running of the economy from 2017, then you can judge him on the performance of the economy. But he didn't, and he wasn't in charge of running of the economy. And look, I tell you what, the same architecture of this constitution that we have, everybody, including cabinet, is advisory to the president. Look, I recollect when I was a member of parliament, look, a lot of the documents that came to parliament was by executive decision, straight on. And the president had the power to do that. Even advice from cabinet, it's advisory to the president. And so this thing of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia being held responsible for collectively he's part of the team. Collectively he is. And it's very evident. And over time, people are going to appreciate this more. And I've just stated, whether Professor Nana Opoku-Agyeman has been touted as an economist, we have this notion of the vice president being the chairman of the economic management team. And so you are in charge. And I mean that is why in the office of the vice president, she has advisors, technical people, and all of that. But over time, we will see how this things go. The people in the NPP have seen that, look, whatever results the 2024 elections churned out, we as a people have taken it in our stride. It is feedback on the performance of the New Patriotic Party from 2017 to 2024. We have taken it in our stride.
Okay.
We are learning from it, and we know that, look, given the array of people who are interested in leading the party going forward, amongst them, personally, I think that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia stands tall amongst them.
Okay.
And that we should give him another opportunity to lead this party. And I'm happy that
thank you very much.
The numbers being churned out, and then again,
I need to pay bills. I need to pay bills. So allow me to do that.
Thank you.
Hussein Isa is a member of the NPP and a former member of parliament for the Kankwe North constituency. You're still listening to The Big Issue live on City 97.3 FM. It's live from our studio here at Channel One. We are discussing a number of issues that dominated media discussion in the course of the week. Earlier, we looked at the Electoral Commission's decision